We have to let everybody know the decision that we've came to. And we're going to Captain Planet this thing after we tell everybody. If we hit 25,000 subs on YouTube, Blaine is going to get a buzz cut or shave your head. Let's make sure we're buzz cut.
Two things here.
What?
You got two things.
Okay.
Yep. So I've decided, I've concurred it with the team. 50K subscribers on YouTube.
Okay.
And I will buzz my head.
You'll live on the show.
I will buzz my head live on the show.
On a Friday in a dragon outfit.
I'm not sure about the dragon. I'm okay with it on a Friday. Yeah, dragon outfit. No, I don't think so. Either 50K subscribers on YouTube or 10K followers on Twitter. We'll do either one.
You're so selfish. It's unbelievable.
God,
all right, are we gonna,
I knew y'all would love that.
So are we gonna Captain Planet?
I knew
this
y'all
thing
would
or
love
what?
that.
We're good at Earth,
Wind,
Fire.
Together we form Captain Planet.
Captain Planet.
You got to get the last part.
Yeah,
right.
you'll get it down.
I'm not going to say
working on
the whole thing, but you basically did.
Yeah. If I had to pick one person who ruined that, it was probably you.
And I'm sticking to cheating trivia questions too for bonus questions. I'm really getting upset about it.
I haven't. There's been no cheating or collusion. Actually, there was one.
That's what someone who cheats and collude would say. But anyway.
That actually is.
That is valid.
Aaron Rodgers says he expects some growing pains for the Packers offense. Should they be worried? Tim Brando's going to hop on to talk some college football expansion. And Brittney Griner pleads guilty to bringing hashish oil into Russia. Not a great idea, Brittney. I'm Jake Crane, and welcome to Crane & Company. Aaron Rodgers is in the spotlight once again after commenting on the offensive progress so far this preseason, saying he likes where they are, but they're going through some growing pains, and fans may need to temper their expectations. Now, in a normal situation, the best teams are the ones where the defense is ahead of the offense early, and then the offense starts to catch up a little bit as you go through camp. If you have a defense that's getting torched right when you start, that is a fatal sign. The reasoning is very simple. Offense is a lot more about timing and having to move as one organism while inserting new schemes and adjustments. And typically early on, defenses don't have as much in. Therefore, it's simpler and kind of easier to cover everything. It's not as complicated. But seeing Rodgers say this makes me think he may be letting everyone know that he isn't exactly thrilled with the pieces that he has. I mean, after all, you lost a witch of the highest order in Davante Adams. And while Sammy Watkins is nice, he's no Davante. Maybe Aaron's a little upset after losing Davante Adams and having one of the best wide receiver classes in NFL draft history, where the Packers really didn't even make a move for the top guys. Now, Christian Watson, he'll probably be a good player, but with the prospects the Packers could have landed at wide receiver, he's basically the Chet Cola version of what they needed. Like everyone else in the NFL, Aaron's time is running out. And after the typical Days of Our Lives episodes we see with him each offseason, who knows how or where his career will finish. But if this is any indication, he may be subliminally sending out an SOS before the ship even hits the iceberg. And to me, Packers fans should be worried. Again, we talked about the difference between Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, and even James Harden, you could say. Some guys are willing to take a pay cut to make the team better.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers wants the whole bag. He don't want to share his bag. He's the sheriff of Nottingham. And you know what? It's capitalism in America. He can go get it, and they're going to pay him. But if I'm a Packers fan, Aaron Rodgers communicates kind of in a different way. He doesn't really come out and say 100% of what's going on, but he leaves breadcrumbs.
Very mysterious.
It's very mysterious. It's like he walks into the woods and leaves the rope where the trees are going left and right so he knows how to get back out. So part of the spidey senses in me are saying, Aaron's out there looking around and going, well, I know I'm going to be here for a little bit, but I wouldn't expect us to be making runs like we did, and you shouldn't with the moves that have been made.
If you're a Packers fan, and you have the most accurate passer in the history of the game as your quarterback, and you're going to pay him $50 million a season, you don't want to be hearing phrases like temper expectations or expect growing pains. You just don't. You made 2 NFC championships in the last 3 years. You're hoping to fine-tune some things, tweak some things to get over that hump, not completely rebuild. Now, look, Davante Adams is a huge loss. So if you're hearing expect growing pains on offense, maybe you're hoping that you mentioned Tom Brady's name. I'm thinking a lot more Peyton Manning when it comes to Aaron Rodgers because he's never been able to have the best defense on his team. Maybe that's what the Packers have been trying to do with these last few drafts by not getting him the weapons on offense. Maybe the Packers can finally lead with an elite defense and have Aaron Rodgers and the offense do just enough to be able to win a Super Bowl.
So you're saying they want to lean on Aaron so heavy that they're willing to just overload the defense, let him have a couple weapons. And look, weapons, like I said, Sammy Watkins isn't bad. We know about Lazar. Tanya and I know is rehabbing that knee. We know him in the seam. He's unbelievable. But again, to be able to win the games that you're going to have to win, I still don't think that defense is there. I love Aaron Jones coming out of UTEP. The dude's unbelievable in the passing game, and Aaron continues to talk about they need to make adjustments in the passing game to the running backs to become more effective. That's a lot of where the offense is starting to head. You're getting, even in college, glorified runs in the pass game to running backs. Again, a check down, basically a glorified run when you look at it.
Well, I would say that the three guys you just named will not win you a championship in the NFL.
They won't.
They won't. You're not. It's not even this draft. Let's go back to past drafts with the Packers. You're going to draft this much defense. I better see it on the field. Didn't have a top 10 defense last year. And you give away Devontae Adams. You didn't get better. You didn't get better. Don't expect to make it farther than what I can't believe you made it as far as you did. That's how good Aaron Rodgers is. You can only say hike and throw it to Aaron Jones so many times. Devontae Adams was probably 80% of this offense, and it's an organizational problem. If you're going to keep drafting defensive players and it's not going to show up on the field, you're not going to win the big game. You're just not, because the NFL is almost turning into what? A passing league. Well, it is a passing league. Now it is, and you're seeing a lot more checks down to the what? To the back. If your main guy right now is your running back catching the ball, you're not going to win. If your second best guy is Lazard, you're not going to win. Or Sammy Watkins, you're not going to win. Really, the teams that win Super Bowls, who win the big games, have a big quarterback and a what? A number one wide receiver to take them home. And it's not Aaron's fault. It's the organization, the people who run the Packers, who don't know how to draft right. And you talk about this, and you talk about this. All the receivers that were in this draft.
Yeah.
All the receivers. And I don't know if they...
Jameson Williams, Drake London. I can go down the list.
And I think they traded back to get a guy with an offense that the only thing they do 90% of the time is run the ball. Yeah. It's going to take 3 to 5 years for this kid even to be really worth his salt. I think he'll be a good player. But still, that's not a guy you put on the board that's going to win you a championship. I put it down on the Packers. It's not Aaron's fault. It's y'all's fault.
And you know who owns the team? The fans.
The fans.
I know.
They
get a little piece of paper. You may get some pitchforks and torches going up there to the building in Green Bay right there by Lambeau. But I want to go ahead and bring in Timmy B. Let's go ahead and bring in Tim Brando. I want to ask him about Aaron, then we're going to get a little bit into college football. So, one of our favorite people, you can catch him anywhere. I'm going to let him plug where he's at because the man is all over the place, especially as we're getting close to football season. The Hall of Famer himself, Timmy B. What's up, my friend?
Jay, great to be with you and all the company.
I love
it. Seems every time I'm with you, something new and big has happened, and congratulations to you. As for where I've been and what I'm doing, chasing grandbabies and golf balls.
There you go.
Nice. Congratulations.
So, yeah, thanks. I've got one more trip to the beach to make next week. I'm on the board of the Werfel Award, and I'm going to go down to Fort Walton Beach and play with the All Sports Club down there. Spend a little time with the wife in the sand, and then get ready for toe to meet leather, and make it over to Terranea for our college football seminar and NFL seminar too. I still dabble a little bit in that, as you know. And in fact, one of my trips that I made recently, late in the season, and it was the year Aaron got hurt. Hundley was quarterbacking. You might recall that year.
Yep.
And they were begging to stay in the playoff hunt, and they were playing Tampa. Jameis threw just enough interceptions for Green Bay to get it to overtime, and it was Jones. I want to say he might have been a rookie that year.
Yeah.
That scored the winning touchdown in that game. So it was a bucket lister for me to do a game that kind of mattered in Green Bay in the regular season. I'd done some preseason games there with Archie Manning when I was doing Saints games, but here's the issue with Green Bay, and again, not to be devil's advocate, but I guess I sometimes play that on TV, devil's advocate. Aaron does not help himself sometimes when it comes to Green Bay having an opportunity to acquire free agents.
Agreed.
Whether it's statements that he might make or images and impressions from players that were once with him. As players in Green Bay during their heyday, when they were in Super Bowls or in the hunt for a Super Bowl in 2016 when Atlanta beat them. That all comes into play, I think, when they're trying to get the kind of talent that he'd like to have and probably needs. But management has been a problem there. I'm not going to say you're wrong, but I'm going to say that he's contributed to some of his own issues as it relates to getting the kind of personnel around him that he wants. He's not necessarily, at least according to those that I talk to that have been in the league for a while, the warm and fuzzy quarterback that some other guys might be, and they think about that before they jump in as a free agent.
Well, yeah, I agree. And to Blaine's point, talking about Davante earlier, it wasn't like the Packers were just like, all right, Davante, you just go out to pasture. Davante made that choice. I think that says a little bit about Aaron Rodgers as well, that you're willing to leave. And I know Derek Carr, they played together at Fresno State, and I get it. But Davante was a staple. I mean, people are calling him the best receiver in the league. You're looking at him and D-Hop and some other guys. He was an absolute staple there in Green Bay. And that communication with Aaron Rodgers, we know on the field it was great, but he's not the first guy, like you said, to kind of talk, not really talk about it, but leave because Aaron's ego may be a little bit too big to fit into the clubhouse, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, as you know, Greg Jennings had some things to say. He was on that Super Bowl team, and Greg was actually doing his first NFL game with me that week. Yeah. Now, Aaron wasn't playing, but he was around. And at practice, we went to the practice. It was, from distance anyway, it was a little bit awkward. Okay. And when you talk to players, they'll all say, well, it's good to be, but 12, it's different with 12. They'll say that openly. And so you feel it. And Greg was one of the more outspoken, former wide receivers that he worked with. And by the way, was very successful as a wide receiver for Green Bay.
Definitely. And again, it is awkward after you say that. But look, Timmy, me and you were texting, yesterday. I asked you to come on because I want to get your thoughts as a guy who has covered the sport of college football. I mean, you've seen it change. You understand the mechanisms that go on that allow for change. And I just want to give you the floor, and I want to make sure the Booster Club's able to ask you some questions too, just about your overall thoughts on everything from conference realignment to realignment to the transfer portal to NIL. What is your kind of overall take on the direction of college football? I asked Tony Barnhart this yesterday. I want your take on it.
Well, I think that most of the people that are upset, are Tonys in my age or older. And because they see it through their youth, and college football's had its problems in so many ways because of the inability to run itself properly as a business. And if you don't know the history of college football on television, then maybe you don't know why we're where we are. And I wouldn't have had a career at ESPN in all likelihood, if not for the Supreme Court ruling in 1984, which was a 3-2 vote, by the way, very close. Universities of Georgia, Oklahoma, getting the Supreme Court to side with them. And the NCAA lost monetary rights to negotiate for college football. The floodgates opened. ESPN finally got live college football in 1985. I mean, think about that.
Man.
In the grand scheme of things, it was before you guys were born, maybe even thought about it. But 1985 in the grand scheme of things is not that long ago. Okay. Historically, it's not. I was 29 years old, and, I got to be on the sidelines and call games that I would not have had the opportunity to call. I was doing sidelines and hosting even before College Game Day was invented in 1987. I was working the sidelines and hosting the biggest show ESPN had, which was Saturday Night Primetime. Mike Patrick and Pat McAnally were the two guys in the booth. McAnally was a punter and receiver with the Cincinnati Bengals. The following year, we started this thing called College Game Day. All of that happened, and ESPN's popularity mushroomed because of football finally being live at the collegiate level. This is years before the NFL, years before Major League Baseball. Really, the NCAA tournament in college football got that place going and enabled me to move up there and be a contract employee for 4 years, and I stayed for 9. But, after that, you saw the College Football Association begin, which was everyone except the Big Ten and Pac-10 and Notre Dame. And then around 1990, 91. I just got in my Notre Dame game in 89. In 1990, they decided to cut their own television deal and secede from the College Football Association. That was a huge deal at the time. Well, now when the conferences saw all that taking place, then they decided, you know what, we're going to cut our own deals. We don't need to be just with one body. Notre Dame's already cut their deal. We can get more money for our member institutions if we do something else. And Roy Kramer, the then SEC commissioner, decided, let's go, let's do this. And then he got South Carolina and Arkansas, not the teams he necessarily wanted in 1992, but he got them because he wanted to split the league in half and have a playoff game. Why did he do that? Because it was another revenue stream. It gave him another game to negotiate the rights for.
Yeah.
In the early years, when CBS got the contract for the SEC, there was a leftover deal for like 2 more years with ABC. Like if you go and watch Terry Bowden coaching against Peyton Manning, that game was on ABC. Keith Jackson was calling that game. CBS had to negotiate additionally for that game when the next deal came up. And that's when the SEC on CBS evolved and became a reality, which also helped transform the sport. Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, they all did their due diligence to make the best deal they possibly could. So that's why we got to this position. But for such a long time, no one has, in my opinion, tapped into the marketplace the way they could. They've left all kinds of money on the table for many, many years. And so I think that, when Texas and Oklahoma went to the SEC, a move, surprised a lot of people, happened during SEC media days, as you know. And the fact that they kept it quiet was pretty remarkable.
It was.
But we did not have the seismic tremors to earth that we had last Friday when USC and UCLA did what they did. And here's why. When that happened with Texas and Oklahoma, and they were being brought into the Southeastern Conference, Greg Sankey had already done his TV deal. TV deal was done. They didn't even put it out for bid. ESPN was going to have it. And they were going to get the CBS window. How many times have you heard this? The CBS window was coming to ESPN and ABC, but not for another 5 years, 4 years. Now we've got 2 years left.
Yep.
Okay, so they will begin this contract, the new one with ABC and ESPN, the 25 season. What the Big Ten decided to do was in their first contract with Fox and ESPN, they negotiated just a 6-year deal, not a long-term deal. And the reason for that, their outgoing commissioner, Jim Delaney, said, hey, we're going to have a shorter deal because we want to negotiate again for bigger rights. Cable cord cutting is taking place. This digital thing is going on. We want to start our next deal sooner than everybody else, sooner than the Pac-12, sooner than the Big 12, and even the SEC. So the SEC's got its deal done even before Texas and Oklahoma joined. Yeah, is it worth more? No doubt. But it doesn't affect the size of the contract. All right. Well, here we are in the midst of Big Ten negotiations with the company I work for, with Fox, and the deal's not done yet. Yeah. Okay. I think we all thought, the guys that I work with were thinking, okay, well, we'll find out about this maybe before the season starts. Now I'm not so sure, because when you get USC and UCLA, that adds incredible value and inventory to your product. And now we're waiting for the next domino to fall. And the entire college football world is on the edge of its seats to see what Notre Dame does. But regardless of what Notre Dame does, they'll be fine. The rest of the movement won't take place until Jack Swarbrick decides, will he or won't he? And if he does, will it be where we think in the Big Ten, or will it be someplace else, as I know you've already suggested? But Jay, it's just an unbelievable thing to see that we have a fluid situation. The only thing we know about the Big Ten deal is its primary rights holder is Fox. Yeah. And that Fox is even involved as a consultant with all of the other bidders and suitors for the contract. And you've seen the published reports, they're out there. CBS could replace its lost SEC window with the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. The potential of NBC doing a primetime game could be there with the Big Ten. And you're saying, okay, wait, how, they have a Big Ten network. Are they running out of games? No, they're not, because they're growing. Yeah. So, they've got Amazon, Apple, on the digital side, all coming in with more suitors for their contract. And it's a diametrically different way of going about handling your TV rights. And I personally believe, this is just my opinion, that the fingerprints of Jim Delaney are all over this.
Yeah.
Okay. Working as a consultant to Commissioner Warren and the Big Ten, and the potential of what might happen between now and toe meeting leather in September, Labor Day weekend. I have no idea. Okay. Yeah. I have no idea, because everything's on the table. Any move could possibly happen. But one thing is for sure, the separation between the SEC and the Big Ten is real.
Yep. But
it's in monetary value. It doesn't mean that suddenly all the other schools that are in the Big 12 and Pac-12 are out of business and won't get in. No, to the contrary. I think that this all happening is going to ensure that we go to 12 teams in the next expansion in 2026. And that will make for a greater opportunity of inclusion rather than exclusion. Mm-hmm. And I think the Big 12 is in a position to really put itself in a great place, because they're ahead of the Pac-12 now, having already acquired the American schools and BYU. They've got a leg up now on the Pac-12, who's on life support right now. I think the Big 12 is in a position to gobble up Colorado, Utah, Arizona State. I think all of that is in play for their new commissioner, who, by the way, is a go-getter.
Yeah, okay? He is.
He's a go-getter big time. It was outside the box, but that's exactly what the sport needs right now, is a breath of fresh air and outside the box leadership.
Yeah, and Tim, kind of to your first point, you don't know where you're going until you know where you've been. So I think that is very enlightening to a lot of the audience that doesn't remember what happened in '85, and then how game day got going, then the succession, and it created a vacuum basically, and we're seeing that vacuum kind of go to work. But Cone, what do you think?
Well, first of all, let me compliment you on that beautiful Michigan helmet over your shoulder there. I have one as well, so I feel like I can call you Uncle Tim at this point, right?
That is my homage paid to Peter Cook. It's the helmet.
That's exactly
right. I got the eye at Ohio Stadium, and when I'm dead and gone, bury me in the Michigan helmet, the greatest helmet of all time.
That's a great name.
You are a legend, sir. You are a legend. Look, it's not just your generation who are having concerns over the state of college football right now. I mean, we were told NIL would not be pay for play. It basically is. The transfer portal has created a lot of confusion. We're basically headed toward two major super conferences, one called ESPN, one called Fox. I mean, the worst case scenario is that we have sort of an NFL, AFL, old school merger from the 60s, right? Talk me off a ledge here. I mean, will college football still be great for my son's generation?
Yes, yeah. And with all due respect to those that have stated that this is a follow the blueprint of the Premier League or take us back to the old AFL, NFL, I don't believe that at all, because all of college football does matter to the leadership here. All of college football, even though they want to get the most money for their respective conferences, they absolutely want to keep the rest of the sport intact. And for those that believe that you cannot compete with the kind of incredible cachet that the two power leagues have here, well, okay. Do you have any idea how much money Cincinnati made last year in television rights? I'll just throw that out as an example. You guys know what they made?
I don't.
In TV revenue.
How much?
Scarcely over $6 million. About $7 million is all they made.
Wow.
Now, that's a hell of a lot of money for a group of five conference. In fact, it dwarfs the Sun Belt and the Mountain West and everybody else. But it's significantly lower than even the Big 12, which those schools have been pocketing about $42 million, which is not anything to sneeze at. The Americans really not that far from the ACC, which really should tell you that what they did to have a cable network, that was not a smart move. The presidents of those universities so wanted a cable network to compete with the SEC that ESPN grudgingly said, okay, we'll give you that. But guess what? We want a long-term deal until 2036.
Yeah.
And here's the money you're going to make, and this is it. And those schools are making about a third of what the Big 12 is making. So can you imagine you're Clemson right now? Okay. And you've got this body of work over the last half dozen years, and you're saying, we're getting what? And Vanderbilt makes what? Okay, so think about that. That's where we are. But I do believe all of college football is going to be fine, and I do think that the Big 12 will have a representative conference, and I think it'll grow. I think that Kliavkoff, there was an article written today by Dan Wetzel, who I really respect, saying we need to really root for the Pac-12, and I do root for them, but they're in trouble. And the reason why the ACC and the Pac-12 are the most vulnerable is because their two leaders, Jim Phillips, a man I respect, thought a lot of at Northwestern, well-intentioned guy, no doubt about it. And George Kliavkoff, much like your mark at the Big 12, came from the gaming industry. I thought that was an outside the box and good hire. But these two guys, for whatever reason, back during the Final Four, voted against expansion.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you do that? Your teams need what conferences needed expansion to 12 more than the ACC and the Pac-12? I mean, they're paying for that now.
I said the same thing, Tim.
And their presidents have to be saying, you did what and why? Okay, so that's why they find themselves in the position they're in. But to your point about NIL and transfer portal, people see all this money, and I get blowback on Twitter. I finally just said, I'll talk to guys like you, but I'm not going to engage fans anymore about it on Twitter because they just don't get it and never will. And I can't do a history lesson in 144 characters. So, but this is the thing you've got to remember. Never before have these schools needed the revenue the way they need it now. I mean, after COVID, they're hemorrhaging money. They need it. And now you've got the players saying, hey, we've got unlimited free agency with no salary cap because the NCAA did not give due diligence to dealing with this. They only went to the Supreme Court for help and got voted down 9-0. So we need help. These schools are trying to stay above, tidal waves financially, and they're going to take whatever they can get for stability long-term for their institutions. That's why UCLA, which was probably $30 million in the red, is now going to be $60, $70 million to the good.
Yeah,
because they hitched their wagon to USC. And we're going to see more of that. And I do think we'll ultimately get some regulations to NIL, but only after the midterm elections. And once we see one party controlling both the House and the Senate, at that point, I think the leadership of college football can go to Capitol Hill and get their attention so that we can smooth those waters out and keep some schools, some states from having a competitive advantage. We need structure. And frankly, with all the TV money coming in, fellas, revenue share for the players to get them up into the ballpark where some of the other guys are at skill positions, I think that'll help readily. I believe that.
Sure. Yeah. Well, again, when you build the parachute on the way down, eventually you got to hit the ground. So we'll see how that goes.
You can't. The genie can't be put back in the bottle.
For sure.
But you can certainly stabilize the waters that they're swimming
That's exactly. You can plug the leak in the boat. It'll go for a little bit after that.
I'm going to go straight to the booster club.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Colleen Houston, huge Notre Dame fan. She wants to know, Tim, will the conference realignments affect the conference affiliations with bowl games?
Like the Rose Bowl, stuff like that with USC and them leaving. That's a great
question. I think the bowl structure as we know it is going to be completely overhauled.
Really?
I believe that. Because we're going to go to 12.
Yeah.
We're going to have a 12 team, and we're going to have two networks involved now. I think pretty much everyone knows that.
Yes.
It's a given. It's not going to just be one distribution point. It's going to be two. So you can make more money that way. You can become more mass appeal that way. I think it's in the best interest of the game. But the bowl system needs to be completely reworked. When the current bowl contracts come up, like for instance, the Rose Bowl is the one that's going to really be getting the lion's share of attention because of what's happening now.
Yeah.
All right. With the Big Ten and its member institutions and the changing addresses that are going on. And I think we'll see a trickle down from there. I think we will see some changes with the connections from bowl. And frankly, I think that would also be good for the game.
Yeah.
The so-called second and third tier bowls, they need to have games that matter in their particular part of the world, because financing those things takes money and it takes a willing community to embrace Team A and Team B to come in. And now when you just have arbitrarily the CFP committee going, okay, we're going to put this team here, that team there, they don't care who's coming to Shreveport, Louisiana or Boise, Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they don't. And I get that. So we need to change it.
I agree. It's funny. Like you said, conference realignment says screw geography, but the bowls need to be restructured, the ones that are kind of on the periphery, to actually include geography. Because, again, it's easier to get to the game if it's closer. You don't have to be a scientist to figure that out. Blaine, one more for Timmy B, and we're going to let
All right, Hunter Thorpe. What's up, Hunter? Hashtag question for Tim. If players take NIL money, should the college then take away their scholarship? Because basically they're already being paid to go to that school.
Yeah.
No, sorry. That's not happening. No.
Yeah.
And the infrastructure of the way college athletics works, and I still believe that the core mission here is for college to be just that. You're going to have to go to school if you want to play the game, even though you are getting money for name, image, and likeness. Listen, this became tawdry when we started seeing sweepstakes taking place for the kid from Pitt that won the Bolitnikov and all that. Yeah. And unfortunately, that is all that people have been reading and hearing about NIL. But I talk to people all the time that are, in fact, I helped put together some conversations between people with NIL companies that were looking to form agreements with schools within the Southeastern Conference and other leagues. And a former boss of mine was actually with one of those companies. These schools that have done their due diligence and have the infrastructure to follow what's going on with their players and what's going on with the collectives and all that, they actually are doing, fellas, a pretty good job. Mm-hmm. You just don't hear about it. It's not in the media. And I think ultimately it's a good thing, not only for players in high-profile places that you know about, but especially for those, like think about college baseball. We just got through with the College World Series. The NCAA has screwed that sport since I've been involved with it. Okay, only 11.7 scholarships.
It's a joke, Tim.
For almost 30 kids. And granted, I get the fact that most kids that are playing college baseball, Jay, come from two-parent homes. They played organized ball. Okay. So I think they're being unfairly targeted because of the demographic that they're from. So they only get at best a half scholarship if they're really good. Well, NIL should and will, I think, give those guys a better opportunity. You know, when people like Graham and Elko said no to the professional opportunities a year ago at Ole Miss, they were kissing off a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money. So it was a big deal for them to hang at Ole Miss and come back and play. Well, those young men deserve more than what they're getting. And most fans don't even think about that. They don't even consider it. That sport has been used and abused the way that it has for so many years. And NIL not only is helping them, but it's also helping non-revenue producing sports for women, like gymnastics, that does so very well in so many communities. Yeah. Whether it's in the SEC or at Utah or Penn State, it's a little bit. Women's gymnastics is as popular as wrestling would be in certain, college communities.
Well, Tim, too, as well, before we let you out of here, I read something today, and I know the math kind of adds up a little bit, skews it a little bit, but the average NCAA football player makes $3,400 with NIL. The average gymnast makes $7,000. So it's really,
think about that.
It's nuts. Yeah. It's nuts to think about, but people don't, because they don't really dig into it. And they will, I think, as it gets fleshed out more, we'll understand it more. But Timmy B, it's always great to talk to you, man. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate the kind words at the beginning. I'm just waiting to get out of a coma and let them tell me what semi-truck hit me on whatever turn. But it's always fun to get you on. We always appreciate it. Well, we're going to be bringing you back like Jordan wearing the 4-5, and it ain't to play games with you.
Well, keep doing what you're doing because it takes courage to say some of the things that I've seen you say recently as you're building a career. And too many people are too moot on certain subjects that no one wants to gravitate towards for fear that their careers might be in jeopardy. And for you to be at this stage of your growth and development, to take those on. You talk about a breath of fresh air. That's what you are. And I wish you nothing but the best.
Well, Timmy B, I appreciate that. Like they said, my daddy always told me, scared money don't make no money. So we're trying to do it big over here. But I appreciate it, my friend, and enjoy the beach that last week. That last trip down there. Go chase some golf balls for me.
I'll do it. All the best, fellas.
All right, my friend. Thank you.
See ya.
Man, Timmy B's the best.
Oh, I love him, man.
I always love getting him on. Now, if you want to watch the rest of this show, head over to thedailywire.com. We're still going to have audio here. Become a member while you're over there, or listen on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share it with your friends. And boy, do we have a second half coming, unlike the Falcons in the Super Bowl. See you in a second. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for heading back. Thanks to Tim Brando. A great interview there. Again, we're getting in there, doing the science projects, putting liquid paper on a bee, finding out what really works. Some great questions there from the Booster Club. Colleen and Hunter, that was great. Going to try and get to more next time as well. But do we want to get into rapid fire, Cone?
Hold on. How about that?
Yes.
Is that answer?
Yes.
Nerf guns, man.
I'm going to move this
do
to
it.
the top of rapid fire since we didn't get to it in Aaron Rodgers. New tattoo, apparently.
Fire.
You got something funny to say about it.
Yeah, well, when I saw this, again, I don't think Aaron Rodgers has ever had a tattoo in his life, but if you look at it, I'm really starting to get worried that he's been watching National Treasure a lot and he's going to try and steal the Declaration of Independence. So if you see Aaron Rodgers with like an old piece of paper and lemon juice and a cotton swab trying to find hidden codes on the back, I mean, look at this thing.
That's a sweet tat.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not a sweet tat, but I'm looking at that. It's like what's going on in Kyrie Irving's head? What is it? What is it?
Lions.
There's a lot going on.
Illuminati eye, constellations. I don't know what's on the bottom, but I'm not surprised on this with Aaron.
Like this is, again, is this his way of telling the Packers, y'all screwed up the draft? Like, is this some sort of old Samaritan?
Didn't he go on a diet where you have to like throw up every 3 hours and then like lock yourself in the fridge for 6 hours and read poetry? Like,
So that's an Illuminati eye?
Yeah,
Is that what that
for
is?
sure.
Yeah.
So
What does that mean? What's he
We
trying
don't
to tell
talk
the
about. We
world?
don't talk about.
What's he
fight.
trying to tell the world?
Don't look, but I'm keeping my eyes open.
Yeah, that's.
But there's another thing you want to bring this up, and I know we didn't have time with Tim, but it's always the negative stuff that people bring up when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, not the guys who come out and defended him.
Who came out and defended him?
Jeff Sitton, Josh Saturday, Jordy Nelson, Josh Kuhn, Devontae Adams, tight end Ben Watson. He had a bunch of guys come out and defend him.
A lot of guys.
But that never gets brought up when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. It's always the dark stuff. It's always this and that. Look, there's certain levels of stuff when a quarterback in the locker room, Aaron does it a little differently, but Aaron gets on that field and kicks people's ass. All right, so how about you get on the field and do the same thing? Greg Jennings, you were a great player, not the most elite wide receiver, but he's had plenty of players that he's played with who come out and defended him.
Well, I think he has players that like him, but again, he buries himself, but he doesn't help himself. But like again, he knows how the media works. Hell, didn't he have a radio show with Ryan Braun, like in Wisconsin? Like, he knows how the media works. He knows they're going to take the negativity and throw it to the top, and any of the positive stuff is going to go on the bottom. And he knows how to play the game. That's why, to me, it's every offseason with this guy. It's every offseason. But I do want to move on and rapid fire.
Yeah, look, I mean, I want to get this one out of the way as quickly as possible.
Okay.
We don't really need to comment on it. But
Okay.
Rafael Nadal has withdrawn from Wimbledon with a 7-millimeter abdominal tear. Keep in mind, guys, he was chasing. I have the tissues back here.
Okay, I was looking
I've
for the
already cried
tissues
it
for
out.
you.
Okay,
Okay,
he
all
was
right.
chasing the career, the calendar year Grand Slam. And to make matters worse, Nick Kyrgios now
You
will
don't like
advance.
this Kyrgios
Nick Kyrgios now advances to the final. You know, as if it couldn't get bad enough. But anyway, just
You love that guy, though.
huh?
You love that guy.
I hate it because I want to see Rafa play the Joker.
And they were on
Like,
opposite sides of the
I
seating.
know.
They would have been in the final.
It would have been an absolute showdown throwdown.
It's okay.
You're gonna be all
Anyway,
right. Hey,
we'll move on.
Look at me. You're safe.
We're in Trust Tree.
Hashtag trust tree, bro.
Hashtag
Yeah,
trust tree.
yeah, all
Trust
right.
tree.
Hey, Brittney Griner update here.
Ha ha ha!
She did plead guilty to bringing hashish oil into Russia. So I don't know if this is a long strategy play here in terms of the prisoner swap that we were talking about for Victor Bout, or if this is still some sort of fabricated.
Let me say this. I do want to say what I hope she comes home as fast as possible. Regardless of what you think about her, I hope she comes back as fast as possible. But it's tough for me to feel sorry for you when you try to smuggle drugs into a country that is ran by criminals and just happen to be the arch enemy, basically, of the country where you live in. And there's a war going on in that country. So they are going to try and grab everything they can. That's how they do it. That's how they do it in Russia. And you went over there and now you pleaded guilty. You did it. I don't care if you accidentally did it, but you did it. And let's not act like you didn't know hashish oil was in your bag when you were going to Russia. Now what's going to happen is, who'd have thought that the biggest trade that Brittney Griner would have ever been in would be between geopolitical rivals. And if I'm Russia, the way I'm looking at it, they want that Victor Bout guy that's arrested, that we sentenced to 25 years, who was gun running to terrorists in the United States. So now Brittney Griner is on the trading block with the merchant of death. And if I'm Russia, I don't just want Victor Bout. I want a terrorist to be named later and maybe some cash because they need it right
now. It's a Dave Chappelle skit.
Well,
this is a Dave Chappelle skit.
You want to kneel for the national anthem. You don't want the national anthem to be sung.
But then you want to get
you don't want flags in the ceremony before any games. But now you're going to crawl back and ask for help. To tell you the truth, I don't feel bad for you. You did this to yourself, and now a country that's racist and that you hate, now you want them to come save you, which they probably will, because that's how great America is. You can say all you want about it, but at the end of the day, you are an American citizen. They will have your back. But if this is me, I'm Kevin Costner in this thing. I want 3 first rounds, probably a late first round, and probably a couple free agents off of this, because Russia right now has all the leverage. But at the end of the day, you did it. You brought hash oil into Russia. There's a lot of dumb things you can do, and no one forgets that you have hash oil in your backpack.
I agree.
Wait, was all that true though about what'd she say about the flag and the national anthem?
She didn't want it before any games.
Really?
Any games. She wanted it in before any games. But no, we'll come save you. This terrible country. Well, we'll come save you.
Yeah. Well, again, it's your fault. It just is what it is.
All right. You pointed this one out to me yesterday, Rory McIlroy.
Yes.
And some stuff about Liv.
And
I think we have this clip here, and you have a take.
Okay, so before we play the clip, if you remember, Rory, as Brando Chambly called him, the genius that Brando Chambly is, said that Rory is an ambassador and the spokesman for the PGA, and he's going to lead the way. Well, guess what? You just got switched up on, okay? Let's go ahead and listen to Rory now. All of a sudden, let's get together and let's talk together and let's figure it out. Let's go ahead and play the clip. Roll it.
It's messy. I wish it hadn't have got that messy. And in hindsight, I think there were probably steps that were missed that wouldn't have made it as messy. But I think in the long term, it will make the game better.
Talking about Liv.
This is a huge reversal. And to me, it reminds me, if you've ever seen the movie Dodgeball, when White Goodman and Peter LaFleur, played by Vince Vaughn, are up there with Michelle in the hotel room, and he comes up to him and he's like, Peter, I don't know if you've ever seen what $100,000 looks like, except for maybe in the movies. And then he puts the briefcase and he opens it up. Part of me thinks, that Rory did a little research. And part of me thinks that Rory may head on over to the LIV, but it just goes to show you the hypocrisy, the absolute hypocrisy of the PGA Tour and some of the people in it. It is Clyde Edwards hilarious that he is flipping like this. It's almost delicious to me. I don't know the way to put it. And the way he put it, he's like, well, maybe the Saudi Arabians putting all this money into golf's not a bad thing, considering I play golf for a living.
I bet you all that fake money Rory doesn't go to Liv.
No, he's not going to Liv.
What do you think, Blaine?
He's definitely not going. But I don't think Rory thought this was going to last. I think it's starting to change a little bit his head. But now, now we have to learn how to coexist.
They've had 2 tournaments.
Now we have to learn how to coexist with these guys, and now it's a little bit different. But I don't think he's going. Rory, you make enough money, buddy. I think you're fine, regardless, because I think he would somewhat lose some sponsorships if he does go. Yeah, so I think Rory's fine where he's at. He's definitely not going, but he's going to have to learn how to coexist of it, because it might not be going away.
It's not going away. I'm telling you guys, it is not going away.
The sponsorship thing is going to be interesting, though, because all those guys who defected lost sponsorships. They don't want to. Those sponsors don't want to get involved in what's going on with the Saudi Arabia.
Well, I think the Saudi's like, wait, how much is that sponsor paying to you?
Yeah.
Go get my wallet.
No, I get it.
Guys tiptoe around what they really want to say.
Just say what you're going to say.
Chest, big dog.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Say with your chest.
And come on our show and say it.
Yeah, we'll pull a chair up for you right here. We can talk about it.
Last one here. Trent Williams was the first offensive lineman with a 99 Madden rating.
Too bad.
Showing the big guys some love.
Too bad Madden's just terrible. But
how is Quentin Nelson not 90?
Yeah.
What the hell else do you got to do? I mean, Quentin's buried more people than the Undertaker in Los Angeles. I mean, it's I get it, great. It's great for Trent Williams. And I'll tell you another one that's going to be a 99 eventually. Watch out for Linderbaum from Iowa when he gets going, because that dude is an absolute steamroller that they just drafted this past year at center. He's got some of the best center tape that I've ever seen coming out of college. But good to show love to the linemen. It's always good to show love to the linemen, because you know what? It's not the sexiest position. It's the most physical position. You don't get all the glory. You get most of the blame, because people don't say, oh, that was great protection there by the left tackle. They only see him when there's a sack. Yeah. Or it's like the long snapper. You only notice he's there when he does something bad. So I'm glad to see Madden showing some love to Trent Williams. Let's keep it going. Keep showing. I know Aaron Donald's got to be 99, right? He may be 100. 99. Yeah, he may be 100, and he should be 100. But
I love this.
Good for him.
I love this. I mean, I love this. I wish they'd pay as much attention to this as they would do as into fixing your game. But if they're not going to do that, then it's really not going to matter, in my opinion.
They need to bring you on as a consultant. But I feel like it's a great segue, Cone. I've been waiting for this segment for a while, because we always talk about when players sign contracts, and you know, you get these news stories about, oh, he signed for this or he signed for that. And we talk about players that got big contracts that never lived up to the contract. So we are going to pick our greatest ever fleecing of professional organizations. If you don't know what fleecing is, it's stealing. Okay, guys that got huge contracts, not #1 overall picks like Jamarcus Russell, but actually played the game a while and just manipulated their way through making a ton of money. And I want to go last.
You want to go last?
Can I go last?
I'll go first. That's fine.
Go ahead,
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't know we were doing guys who played in the league a while, so my guy's a little bit different here. But it is kind of funny. Antonio Bryant. All right, Antonio Bryant signed a 4-year, $28 million contract. $8 million guaranteed. All right, listen to this. He signed with the Bengals in May 2010. Had knee surgery. He was barely able to practice while recovering. The only time he put his jersey on was for picture day.
No way.
He got $8 million just for taking a picture, baby.
Wow.
Antonio, I see you, my guy.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he got hurt, though. He did get hurt.
But still, they do that and still paid him.
You got $8 million guaranteed.
Okay, that's a good one. I'm going to see you, and I'm going to raise you. I'm going to go Chase Daniel. Okay, I thought about Matt Flynn.
Hey, it's Mizzou,
Matt Flynn
baby.
Getting paid from one great game with the Packers, but I'm going to go Chase Daniel. Listen to this. He has surpassed $41 million. Probably going to hit 51. Probably going to hit $50 million in career earnings, which is 62nd all time for QBs, while starting only 5 games and averaging 6.5 yards per attempt. It's about as much money as John Elway made.
That's insane. I thought you were going to go Harrison Barnes.
Well,
they pay him like $100 million.
Well, the Warriors are paying like $100 million, but the Mavs took a brunt of that when he got traded.
Okay.
Hey, but I'm not mad at these guys. Get paid.
Get your money.
Get paid.
Get your paper.
Look at SEC coaches who just sign one contract, get fired. They're rich forever.
To me, when we decided to do this segment, there was one name that kept popping in my head. And if we're going to talk about the greatest fleecings in the history of professional sports, there is a day named after the greatest heist of all time. And it's on July 1st. You know what that day is called? Bobby Bonilla Day.
Yeah. Bobby Bonilla.
I want to go through some facts with you guys. I know Bobby Bonilla was a pretty good player, but when he signed this contract, remember, he gets paid since, oh my goodness, forever. He gets paid just under $2 million until 2035 per year.
That's how
per year. Now, after he signed this contract, because there was a deferred thing with the Orioles and the Mets ended up getting this contract, after he signed it, he was on the disabled list forever. Never really contributed that much. But let me tell you something that is just absolutely hilarious about this. Number one, he's going to make more money than Pete Alonso and Jeff McNeil combined.
Wow.
The Polar Bear and Jeff McNeil combined. But, and this may have to do with me being a Braves fan a little bit, but the most hilarious and, in an odd way, beautiful part about this whole thing is, guess who, when this deal was made, the Mets were investing with and thinking they were going to get a lot of bread because, oh boy, was coming back with 12% returns, 15% returns. Bernie Madoff.
No.
Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff with the Mets franchise for a couple of years.
Yeah.
It's a pyramid.
It is absolutely mind-boggling how the Mets invent ways to blow it. And good for Bobby Bonilla. You're a genius. And every July 1st, I will have a drink for you, my friend, because you just went to the Mets and fleeced them in front of God and everybody. And you know what? It is hilarious, and I am totally here for it. But I'm also here for something else, and I need you to know it.
What's that?
The Booster Club, Blaine. Let's get to some questions.
All right.
As I walk over
First
the
couple
board,
things here.
of
Kind of some
excruciating
names,
pain
trivia.
and
some
love.
names, some names we didn't talk about.
Okay,
All right,
go
Matt
ahead.
Flynn.
Yes.
Matt Flynn. Matt Flynn was my pick all the way until this morning.
In like Flynn.
Allen Iverson getting paid through 2030 with his rebound.
I don't sound.
Yeah, but he balled, though. He balled for a long time.
He crossed up in
David Carnegie says, Antonio Bryan is my cousin, LMAO.
No
way. He said that?
You're
Hold
rich,
on.
dog.
Dave, you never told me that, man.
You're rich.
I
Let's
looked
get him
at
on
this
the
one.
show.
Gilbert Arenas, 6 years, 111 mil. Jacob Ellsbury, 7 years,
Jacoby Ellsbury.
Jacoby Ellsbury, 153 mil. Jeez. All right. Travis Elrod asks, #Ask Crane Company, do you think Brittney Griner will come back to America with a greater appreciation for her country?
Well,
Yes.
if you don't, then they may just send her back.
Yeah,
Like,
you have to. You have to.
Again, you come on and save us, Team America. Come on and save us. But it's the worst place ever. You guys are a joke. What else?
All right. Let me get in here.
You get in there like swimwear.
All right. Colleen Houston. I called you Colin. Don't get mad at me for that. Quentin Nelson, in my opinion, is the best offensive lineman in the league. How
Sold.
is he not a 99 overall?
Sold. I said the same thing. It doesn't make any sense.
Valid.
One more, B.
All right. Jimbo Eagle would want us to know, would you go into the live tourney if they offered you all that money?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Where do I sign up? Where's the plane? I'll do
Play
it right
golf
now.
to do what you're good at, to do your profession.
Now, they're going to be really pissed off when they watch me play after paying all that money. They're going to be a little let down when the first one goes all the way to Dubai off the right.
Here's one thing to keep in mind with that question, though. Like, Jake and myself, who answered yes to that, haven't set as our goal for our entire life to play on the PGA Tour.
True.
You know, like if the USFL takes off and someone asks, would you, trade all this money to go play in the USFL? Like, my goal was to play in the NFL. So a lot of these guys on the PGA Tour, that was their goal. It was to win the Masters, which you're not going to be able to do. I don't think. I mean, we're going to keep track of the majors, but a lot of these guys set as their goal to win these tournaments. That's why you saw the winner from this past weekend at the John Deere was crying when he won. I mean, it's an emotional thing because they've had that as their goal, whereas we're kind of just seeing it as, if I was really good at golf and they offered me all this money to go play golf, we'd say yes.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me when your mom used to make lasagna. No,
Oh my God. That analogy works.
It works, man.
We
It
were
works.
talking about this last
Everybody gets that. It works. So it's some of my best work. I have to give myself some credit. Cone, you have a trivia before we go to bed.
Oh, yes. I have
Let's
a
get
couple
trivia
here. I'll
for a
ask one here. The All-Star break is around the corner for Major League Baseball.
Supposedly.
Barry Bonds hit the most home runs before the All-Star break. How many did he hit?
I'm going to say 41.
That's a lot. I'd say 33.
He hit 39.
Oh!
39, you were
I knew it was
closer.
going to be close to 40. I knew it was going to be close to 40. All right, you got another one of that? Is that
You want another one?
You got another one?
You want another one?
Prepared. I'm so proud of you, man. I am.
All right. Which pitcher had the most wins before the All-Star break?
In the history of baseball.
Yes.
Man.
Most wins before the All-Star break.
Give me. God, how long has the All-Star break been around? Long time. Give me Randy Johnson with.
It's going to be Randy.
Give me Randy Johnson with 9.
That's a good guess. What do you say over there?
Give me Randy Johnson with 10.
How about Ubaldo Jimenez with 15?
Are you
Yes.
You remember when Ubaldo Jimenez came into the league and was throwing absolute UFOs
Yes.
up there? Everybody's like, where's this guy from? I remember Ubaldo. Now I forgot about him, but now I remember him because he did trivia. But yesterday, went 1-1. We're going to move on. We're moving on. It's been a good month so far for everybody. Baby Cone, who's coming off a win in the month. Maybe went out and partied a little too much, got a little month win hangover. We'll see. I'm going Red Sox money line tonight. The greatest rivalry in baseball. I'll say it. Red Sox, Yankees. It's in Fenway. I know Garrett Cole's pitching, but let's not act like Garrett Cole's just been out here balling all year. Yeah. There's been some games where he's fallen apart quicker than Post Malone in the studio. So I'm going Red Sox plus 145 money line. Let's go. Fever pitch.
What's the odds?
Jimmy Fallon. Everybody get together. It's plus 145, or as we call it, a dirty 1-4.
So you're staying with the dog bet.
I'm staying with the dog bets, but I am hopping on the Nerfy train. I'm doing it, guys.
Yeah.
I'm looking around. I'm seeing the scenery. People are making money. It's going good.
Smell the colors.
I could smell the sound. I could smell the sounds. I could hear the colors. What's going to happen to Bill Walton if the Pac-12 folds? The Conference of Champions? Is he just going to disappear? Like if that happens, does he just disappear?
I don't know. Let's stay safe, Bill.
Come on
Stay
the show.
safe, Bill. We
Tell
love
us
Bill.
about it.
We
Saw
love
Bill at Final Four.
Love Bill.
still unbelievably, I'm still shocked how tall he really was. But my second bet, give me the Braves, Cardinals, Nerfy, plus 114. Let's go. Cobras. Cone, what do you got?
Well, look, I had a nice little same-game parlay yesterday with the Braves.
You did.
But I've already forgotten about it, and I'm 0-0 today,
Of course.
coming in.
You forgot about it, but you had to bring it up before.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
It's amazing how you can
I
forget
wanted to see
things
if you
and
caught
bring them
that.
up.
Yeah,
You know, White Sox, first 5, minus a half run at minus 160. We like
Shapiro,
that.
I like that.
Just for Shapiro, yeah. And then want the Rockies and the D-backs to both score at least 3 runs, going off at minus 160. Dallas Keuchel on that. A lot of big ERAs, high ERA
Keuchel's
numbers
not
in
the
that
same
game.
guy anymore.
Let's just get some hits. Let's get some runs. Both teams score 3, minus 160.
Well, Dallas Keuchel looks like every guy I've ever met from Mississippi, but I do want to bring this point up. I was not a math major, but I was pretty proud of what I did when you sent me your bet today to write on the board. I put it Colorado, Arizona, both equal to or greater than 3.
Golly,
I'm telling you.
Come here, man.
Miss Bray, who
So
said
they
I
gotta
wasn't
at
paying
least
attention in
score
math
3.
class, who's the dummy now? Look at that right there. It's like some Matt Damon, Goodwill Hunting stuff. Who'd you pick?
Say it in the Major Payne voice, though.
Who the dummy now?
Who'd you pick in the Yankees, Red Sox?
The Red Sox.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
You want to change it?
Don't point Nerf guns at me.
Why not?
Don't point. I don't like that.
Sleep good tonight.
Yeah, I will. Well, you won't be there.
You're taking
You
Garrett
sure?
Cole and the Yankees.
I don't
right?
like that. I don't.
You
It's taking a
sure I
dark
won't be
turn.
there?
Can you tell us your bets
Is
before
that
you
ring?
actually
Is
get
that
accused
is that
of
ring
murder on the
installed
show?
on the front door yet?
Oh, it's ADT is installed.
Well,
I'll smell you
We'll
from
put
a
it
mile
to the test.
away.
All right,
Yeah.
hey, 1-1 yesterday. Braves came through for your boy. You know, I
Who
take
did?
it.
Who came through for you?
The Braves.
Oh,
Brave.
For sure.
Yeah.
Love
you're a
that.
fan.
Good. I'm going to keep riding their coattails.
You love to
but not
see it.
today. I don't believe. All right, I'm taking Gosling's on the mound. I believe Gosling's like 11-1.
Yeah.
Or 11-0-1 in first 5s. Okay. Took him while I was down at the beach. Pushed, but I'm okay with it. Give me the Dodgers first 5. I believe that's a minus 160 bomb.
It is.
Minus 160 bomb. And then what's that? What am I smelling? Smells like the Giants and the Padres first round Nerfy.
Nerfy.
Got some arms on the mound, boys. Got some arms. We're going to shove it.
Wait.
You know.
Your bet buds with Baby Cone.
Yes.
Good, baby. Hey, baby, come. Let's get you back on the right track this month. You know, I saw you last night. You're doing great. You're living large, especially after the month you had. You had a great time eating ribs.
We'll be giving a speech tomorrow.
I tell you what, he is flying around that house.
Oh, man.
He is flying around that house, and it's awesome.
Can't
See,
contain
the
him.
kid's only getting older, but hey, come on, baby. 8-2. It smells like a 10-2 type of night. Come on, give it to
Ooh,
me.
all right. So, Baby Cone, he's going to join you. As we said, we got a bet bud situation, which is a lot better than bed bugs. If you've ever had them, I haven't, but I heard they
Wow.
sell. So, he's going to go Padres, Giants, Nerfy. That's minus 160. Then he's going to take Nori plus 8.5 games.
He said Djokovic is going to win the match to go to the finals, but Nori plus 8.5 games.
So a little
is safe
closer
bet.
than-
Plus 8
That's what he said.
and a half
Yeah.
game.
That's how good Djokovic is.
Well, if Djokovic were to win in straight sets 6-3, 6-3, 6-3, Baby
9.
Cone would lose. So
All right, so that's going off at minus
good bet, though.
155. Hey, it's been a good start to the month. Guys, football season isn't even here yet. Isn't
know.
even here yet. We're in
Oh,
July,
man.
then we got August, into August. There
Hold on.
is no week 0. We're going to have week 1 in August.
this is the last month with no football
Yes.
until March
Let's go.
2023.
Let's go, boys.
Let's do
Yep.
it.
Let's go.
Let's do it. Anyway, Blaine, I don't know why I wanted to say your name, but I did. Here's what we got. B. Cercio, who may or may not be an international man of mystery right now.
Yes.
Is 7-0. I do want to give a shout out. Had a couple guys hit the Hall of Fame lately, but Revco, which is also Mr. Foster, won 11 in a row. Wow. That's pretty sporty.
You did it the right
That's
way.
pretty
Wow.
sporty, my
Did
friend.
it the right way. Welcome to the Hall of Fame.
That's pretty sporty. And again, it's 10-0 now, but we're going to keep track. Even though you hit 10-0, you don't start back at 0. I want to see who can go the longest and who's
11
the
in a
strongest.
row.
11 in a row. That's a good start. That's a lot of cake. B. Cercio 7-0. Like I said, he wants the White Sox and Tigers Nerfy minus 120.
Come on.
It's a Nerfy party.
on.
We started a revolution. JT Bryan 91 is 7-0. Giants Padres Nerfy. Burn the Squirtle. Astros under a winner first 5 innings. That's minus 185. To see if I can talk at the end of the show. Katie Rose 1191 is 5-0. She wants Garrett Cole under 18.5 outs recorded.
Man, she finds some good
Katie,
bets.
you do find some
Yes.
sneaky bets. EJ Runis is 4-0. He wants the Reds, Pirates, Nerfy minus 115. Williams DG is 3-0. He wants the Red Sox plus 1.5 at minus 116. Take a money line. AC Green 080 is 3-0. He wants Dallas Keuchel, a.k.a. everyone from Mississippi, over 3.5 Ks. I have family in Mississippi. I love everybody from Mississippi. That's not a knock. It's just the truth.
Yeah, I do too.
That's going on at going off at plus 110. Quater 16's 2-0. Wants the D-backs money line plus 100. Midnight Crane to Georgia. That's still maybe my favorite handle somebody's created because of the show. Nats, Phillies, Nerfy, and then Private Chonky. 1-0. Dodgers -1.5, going off at -130. They think the Dodgers are about to
Playing the
murder
Cubs.
somebody.
Goss is all the mound.
I know, but man, that's -130 for -1.5. I mean, that's 13 flavors that we don't believe. But real quick, booster.
Yeah,
club,
I'm going to do a little rapid fire right here in the booster.
Please.
Wow.
Charles Barkley says he's going to take Garrett and the Yankees -4.5 well play.
Charles is in the chat?
-4.5 big whale play.
What's that going off at?
Probably a lot when it comes to odds. I would say nothing less than +800.
What does he say on Austin Powers? They're like, you got 9. He's like, I'll stay.
L. Vine says, but who's going to tell Jake that he still wrote the equation wrong on the board?
It doesn't matter. It's there. The symbols are there. It's the way that I remembered it.
You know what?
I know I put the greater than and before the equal to, but you knew what I meant. Can I just get credit for a little bit of
love?
math?
Just a little love.
Once.
Jay Hudson reflects.
Spray was right.
Okay, seriously, I cannot ask any longer. What is the finger thing Blaine does when he's talking about his picks? What?
What is the what do you do? What? Oh, this? Is it this?
Is it this?
Oh, it's this. Yes.
Or is it this?
Yes.
Scheming. Oh, this?
Oh, throwing?
Pitching.
Oh, that means we're going to just
This is
boom.
another word for shoving.
Shoving.
All right,
Yes.
it's
For
another
5
word
innings.
shoving.
Yes.
All right,
Win in
and
the water
Travis,
cooler.
and Travis Elrod said, God, just have it. He says, Huddy, the thing that bugs me is that all the guys are wearing their socks that are too short. # get longer socks.
Man, y'all are watching closely.
I mean, look.
Look,
first
I wear
off-
what-
first
in my
off-
finger.
I wear what they give me.
First off, you haven't seen anything but black jeans and whatever type of shoes.
Those are
these I
nice,
got
though.
on right now. Yeah, I
like
know.
those.
Look, I like to show off my ankles.
Yeah, you do have really pretty ankles.
If I don't show mine off, Cone's high water pants will change his handle.
That is
I appreciate
true.
it.
Like, I
Which,
can't-
you know what? He has kind of given you a break on Twitter lately. I haven't seen Cone's high water pants just absolutely get after you.
No. Look,
Who used to get after you on Twitter? Was it Jess?
I don't know.
It's
I don't know, but replacement Cone loves them. You know, he's
Yeah.
best friends with
Hey,
him.
replacement code, how you doing?
Yeah, he
No.
went through a lot yesterday.
Thank you. Thank
Wow,
you.
Look at that. Screenshot
Thank you.
that,
Everybody
please.
seeing this?
Thank you.
Put that down.
There it is.
Put that down for the.
We're back better now. That's a good replacement Cone. Look, sometimes emotion gets riding high. You're trying to take away how I provide for my family sometimes, dog. I got to put you in your place, set the tone. That's how we do it around here. But parting thoughts, anything before we ride?
Man, I had something. Top Gun Maverick grossed $1 billion.
And it should have.
Tom Cruise's first $1 billion
I heard that movie was mid.
without airing in China or Russia.
I heard the movie was mid.
I wonder why
They said the jet scenes were cool, but other than that, they just copied.
Well, how about
the scenes
this?
From the
How
old.
about this? How about you go see the picture
Yeah.
and then judge for yourself?
You know what? And how about
You know,
this?
How about
don't take other
no?
people's word for something
How about
being
no?
mid. You know?
We need to meet.
Will you do that again?
Mid.
Get off my lawn. How about that?
It's getting awfully physical. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you're subscribed on TikTok if you haven't. If not, don't blame you. Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. Follow us at Crane Company on Twitter and the YouTube page. Remember,
50K subs.
50K. Blaine's going to shave his head in a dragon costume.
10K Twitter followers.
No, we're not.
No,
Don't worry
it'll
about
be
his
void.
Twitter.
It'll
Don't
be
worry
void.
about his Twitter. He's very selfish. That's, again, the guy who defends Aaron Rodgers. Are you shocked?
Okay, hold on.
Are you
If
shocked?
it's 10K Twitter, we get to do what we want to your hair.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Keep that in mind.
Deal.
Keep that
Deal.
in mind.
Deal.
He said deal.
Well, there you have
Oh,
it.
What do you,
man.
well, I mean, what's up?
Oh, no. You said deal. You said deal. And like the chances of Blaine not shooting me with that Nerf gun right when we go off air, we're gone.